That's a way to start it. Hey, what's going on, champions? Welcome to Growth Mode. I'm Donnie Bovine, CEO and founder of Success Champions. I've spent over 20 years in the sales game, learning how to sell and learning how to grow a business for the last 3.5, almost 4 years. Hanging out with me, as always, my buddy Kevin Snow, a sales and automation tactician and genius. He just sucks at dates right now. But he sent off 2 emails that talked about the 2020s instead of 2021. So I just love giving him a hard time, and y'all get to enjoy along with me. So on this show, we talk all things growing and scaling your business, sales, tactics, and ideas, and we do it from the perspective of an extrovert and an introvert. Kevin, on this episode, what the heck are we talking about?
Well, good morning. Today we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. So a few episodes we talked about content and how to do an endless stream of content for social media, and you talked about taking comments from blogs, and my immediate response in my head was like, oh, I don't say anything profound. So but I think that's something that a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs experience is when social media people tell us, give us something cool to put on your post for us. We're like, I don't say anything cool. And it's not that they don't, it's just they don't realize it. They don't realize that it is.
Well, I think that tinkers have it the worst when it comes to something like social content, right? They think in logic versus common sense. And what I mean by that is a simple one sentence phrase that teaches an idea is profound. And the idea that somebody can look at it and not realize that. Yeah, it could be imposter syndrome. It could be self-confidence. Could be a number of things going on all the way through it. But it's fascinating for me to watch when imposter syndrome hits an individual and when it shows up. And I think most times, to your point, it happens when they've got to put themselves out there. And they've got to be so, seen in the world because now other people get to see them in the limelight, and they're afraid that they're going to step on stage and be seen completely naked. And so it's different for different people of when it's going to rear its ugly head. I even have moments of time, even not as much anywhere where I used to, where it will pop up. But it's situationally based for the most part. And here's the thing. Imposter syndrome is all self-inflicted. It's not like you are not qualified, not capable, able to handle, because we've all found ourselves in situations where we took on jobs, we took on careers, we took on projects that were way over our head, way over our caliber, way over our skill set, and we figured it the fuck out, right? That's just how it works. So having the idea of imposter syndrome, it's just a self-afflicted, I can't say that fucking word. You're doing it to yourself. How's it? God, that was a Porky Pig moment. A bleep, a bleep, a bleep, a bleep. That's all, folks. Fuck. But yeah, I mean, you're totally doing it to yourself. And I've got a couple of fixes for it, but Kevin, I want your additional thoughts on that.
Well, for me, it's always when I bring on a new client that is outside of my comfort zone, because I'm going to be doing some new stuff. I've told them, yeah, we totally can automate that, and now I have to figure out how we're automating that and how that's actually going to work. or I'm having to learn some new technology that I haven't worked with before. And that's usually when I'm like, oh, I'm going to fuck this up. Oh my God, this is not going to end well. But it always turns out really fine. And I think it's just that a little bit of a loss of self confidence and a little bit of self doubting uh, when you're about to go somewhere that unfamiliar.
Well, but that's the magic of everything. Your business should be a series of unfamiliar. It should be a series of new shit. Otherwise, you might as well just create a job that you do over and over and over and over again, become a fucking robot.
Well, that is what a lot of entrepreneurs do.
Well, you're right, and that's the problem. And I don't think everybody should attempt to be a business owner and entrepreneur, because I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I mean, only an entrepreneur gets up every morning and says, "Can I go get punched in the face today?" And I'm a firm believer that there's not some sort of chaos, fear, unknown in your business, then you're not going big enough. I think there's times when imposter syndrome is healthy. And to Kevin's point, you're taking on a project you've never done before. Yeah, that can be fucking intimidating. But it also should be exciting. You should also be looking at that and go, holy shit, I get to learn something new today.
Well, and it's when you look at some of the members that we've worked with from Success Champions Networking, where you've just kind of forced them to go bigger. So Donnie has this thing, for those of you that aren't in Success Champions Networking yet. Donnie has this thing when one of our members says, hey, I really would like to start a blog, or I want to do a podcast. He will publicly go into our Facebook channel and announce to the world that so-and-so is going to be going and starting a blog in X number of days, and basically outs them to the world and then holds them accountable for that. And it's really interesting because you can hear the panic in their voice after you do it and we're talking to them. But once they've done it, they are so excited and freaked out about what they just did, and they're loving life because they've just upped their game.
Dude, yeah, people are procrastinators by nature. And I've found two things that I know to be true. One, public shaming works. Two, having a deadline is critical to finding success in a lot of areas. And when just a lot of people aren't going to get to where they want to go because they hem and haw too much. They get all up in their head. They think it's going to be too much work. They think that it's going to be, an impossible, or imposter syndrome sits in, or whatever the case. And the truth of the matter is almost anybody can figure out almost anything in the world if they have a reason to. And most people just don't have that reason to get it done. So, I mean, I think some people are learning to be careful about what they say around me, because I have no problem, putting them on the fucking pedestal and say, hey, this is what you're going to do, and the whole world's going to want you to do it. So either get it done or, suffer the consequences. We've had some fun consequences, with this. And it just comes down to, man, life's too short to run from accountability. And people suck at holding themselves accountable. So I'll help them along the way. And so will all the other champions. And the success afterwards is brilliant. And most times when you go through doing that thing that you've been wanting to do but put it off for any reason, it becomes the new norm for you moving forward. And something else becomes an intimidation factor. I chalk it up always that, it's the reason I got to tell myself, dude, let's go break some shit. It's me embracing the process of learning something new versus, fearing what's going to happen going into it. And I'm learning more and more that the greatest skill set of a strong leader or a strong business owner is the ability to get punched in the face and still have patience. Because Kevin will tell you, I'm the most impatient motherfucker on the face of the earth, and it drives me nuts. It's like you can see where everything's going and what we're accomplishing and what we're doing, but it's not at the pace that I wish we were doing it at yet. It will be, you know, but
But as soon as it hits that, then our goal is going to change,
oh, for
and
fuck's sake, yeah.
and you're still going to be pissed that it's not where you want it to be now.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think a portion of people to find the success and the business freedom they're looking for, you gotta have that drive. You've gotta have that ability to set a high bar, hit that bar, and then go fucking again and hit the next level. And one of the ways I know people can fix imposter syndrome, and it's worked for me for years, is quit thinking about the task of what you're doing and start thinking about the people you're helping. And it's an interesting twist on how you're putting yourself out there, because imposter syndrome pops up when you have to do something, right? So quit thinking about the doing and start thinking about the what it's doing for others, if that makes sense. And I found that if you start diving into how this helps others, what it's creating, and what it's actually accomplishing, it makes it a lot easier to actually do. And then find a Kevin. You know, set high bars, get other people to do a lot of the work, and you both rise together.
How does that work for? And maybe this is a little bit of a different topic as I'm going through thoughts and comments in my head before anything comes out of my mouth.
Talking to a tinker.
You are. There's a lot of business owners. There's lots of hats that we have to wear, and some of them are more impactful on people than others.
Well,
But
I think
there's, for example, the accounting and bookkeeping part. That is a skill that you need to understand, but not necessarily be able to do. Because I need to understand my numbers, and that's actually our next week's topic. What are your numbers? So stay tuned. But the doing is my issue. The actually going in there and doing it is the. How do you overcome that?
well that can be a number of things, for everybody. I mean, I think a lot of small business owners struggle with their accounting and finances because they're running their business like they do their personal finances, right? So I don't know if it's so much imposter syndrome. I think it's just a lack of desire in general because they don't want to see how shitty the numbers really are, and coming up, no matter how many times I told myself to go look at the numbers, I didn't want to go look at them because I knew they would tell me I wasn't doing the things that I should be doing, right? Numbers don't lie. The numbers are just the numbers. And so, and that could be a form of imposter syndrome by not learning the numbers. I think there's a theory that they'll magically be, an extra zero popping up in the numbers that we were hoping to be there along the way. And I think outside of accounting, there's a lot of things that people do. I mean, sales is another big one that people, they don't like who they are while doing that particular activity, so they shy away from it, versus learning how to make that activity fun, how to actually enjoy the process.
I think public speaking is one of those too. People are deathly afraid of their ability to get on stage and talk in front of people, and it's not that they don't know how to talk. It's that it's really that they don't think they have anything profound to say or share, or that they're not going to come across as the professional that they are.
And what am I going to tell somebody if they say, they're scared to speak on stage? What's the first word that's probably going to come out of my mouth?
Go do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it's for me, action fixes everything. Because when you sit on it, you think, and when you think, you'll talk yourself out of it. So you have to take action in the moment and go straight at it, because you've got to make that fear your bitch and punch it in the face and step forward. Um, I've always looked at self doubt, imposter syndrome, and everything. We know it's all internal, but I always look at it as like a bully standing out of the fucking boxing ring. He's on the outside edges of that ring or a circle of light. And every time you get to the edge of that comfort zone to try something new, that bully puts the red rope down and goes, "Hey, look here, fucker, don't go any further." So you've literally got to treat that fucking subconscious mind like a fucking bully, punch the fucker in the face, and step forward. Because and the step forward is the action that gets you to move straight towards that fear. What's the thing you can do that's going to make you move straight at it and not shy away from it? So I'm a firm believer that any sort of fear pops up, it's a universe saying go that direction, because you're about to fucking learn something that's going to help you move forward in life. So if that fear, that anxiety, that whatever pops up, punch that bully in the face, your subconscious mind, and fucking go straight at it. And yeah, it's probably going to hurt. You're going to break some shit. You're going to screw some things up, man. But all the fucking shit you're going to learn on the back end is going to be absolutely brilliant. So, I think the bottom line for imposter syndrome is you gotta take it at its worth. It is just negative self-talk. It is literally you're listening to yourself versus talking to yourself. And you've got to move straight towards that thing that you think you're not good enough for, or you think that people aren't going to want to hear you for. Because look, guys, at the end of the day, there's been some fucking idiots on stages, on podcasts, on whatever that have no business being up there, that people have no idea because they're up there. So help me, help the world by you who's listening or watching this. Fucking get out there and get your message out there, because we need some good people out there. We need some good people telling and sharing their stories. So, as always, if you guys get any gems or any value out of this show, this episode, do us a favor. Make sure you're subscribed and tell somebody else how to subscribe or follow the show. It means everything to us. Till next time, see ya.